Hi, this is Bobby with another monthly update from our ad agency and our growth. In this video, I talk about, or this month really, we talked about niching down our services. A conversation sparked this idea or clarity of another agency owner offering all kinds of services and what we could take away from that. Specifically later in the video, I also mentioned that we're offered or have offered website services in an effort to improve clients' return and the negative experiences or aspects of that experience that we're having, and trying to do better at either removing those services altogether or locking in contracts. So some of the problems related to not being too diverse. We also talk about or finalize our decision on account management and media buyers, the relationship between those two and who's responsible for what, and having account managers defining their role as what they should do and are responsible for, and then media buyers as well, and how they're going to work together to make sure that clients are happy. So that was big. Those are big changes. A lot of clarity came this month. Hope you enjoy the video, and we'll see you in the next one. I got off the phone today with an agency owner also who's in startup mode, 2 years in, and they had 12 different clients. They were selling everything, creative services, email, they were selling content management, I mean everything, Facebook ads, Google ads, SEO, and it was just mind-blowing for me to think about that as a strategy for our agency. Now, I've talked about expanding services, but to not be specialized and have a message that communicates to everything and not something specific, and not be an established brand, to me just doesn't seem like a very big confidence instilling message for a brand that might think about using you. Now, I'm not trying to talk badly about this guy. I mean, clearly he's signing clients and something he's doing is working really well. And there's probably something I can learn from him in the strategy that they're deploying. But for me, it feels like specializing in an agency world is gonna be the way to start. Have something that you hang your hat on. No matter what, we're gonna crush it on Facebook and Google and Snapchat and Pinterest for you. Straight direct response ad buys. And then as you get a really great book of clients and a lot of case studies, then you can slowly expand into these other offerings. That feels to me like much more organized and is not going to blow my business up if I lose one client that's doing a lot of creative work, or if I get a big client that does creative work, it like controls my whole business. It's a different strategy that they're deploying, and I thought it was really interesting. Not something I think for us is going to be a really great fit, but certainly something to consider in when you're going through the process, I guess. Thought I'd share. Interesting conversation.
Hello. Hello, Bobby. How are you?
We had a conversation yesterday. One of the planning for growth discussion topics we had was about account manager heavy model versus multiple team member model as far as communication with clients goes. And the conclusion that we came to really was that in order to really grow, we have to have the account manager talking to the clients and in charge of the success. Really, an account success manager would be a better title for them. As a team member, that person would be in direct communication with the lead media buyer that goes on working on the account. The account manager would be the direct point of contact for the client on any vocal communication, video, in-person communication, and the lead buyer on the account would be the direct point of communication for anything having to do with Slack communication and media updates. So as a media buyer, you're really dialed into the account and always in, and if a question comes up that's high or low level, very micro conversation topic, you're going to be able to answer that really quickly, and the account manager would then have to ask you exactly what's going on because they're probably talking to people more than they are working on accounts. That was a little bit different than we were hoping it could be. I was hoping it could be just account managers communicating, but it's so helpful, I've found, as I'm in that account manager, success manager role. It's so helpful to have a buyer chime in and share exactly what they're doing when a client asks for it. So it's a really big deal. And that's kind of the direction we're gonna go, especially as we bring this next play on to be a media buyer. We'll have to have him be the lead point of contact in Slack, answering questions to make sure the client is heard and their account feels worked on. One of the other things we talked about was scope creep, which we're learning is basically when your clients continue to ask for more and more things to get done, and it's affected us in a really big way with these websites. And not that we think it was a mistake to do these websites, it was really good for the company, but there's little things that keep getting asked and we didn't do a good enough job early on because it's not our core business of setting the boundaries of what we're going to do, what they're going to pay for and receive, and when we're going to cut it off, you know, how many rounds of revisions and all that kind of stuff. So it's a lesson that we're taking away. It's something to keep in mind, your scope creep. Make it really clear what you're going to or not going to do when you're talking to these people early on, and get it in writing, apparently.